I don't pick tools because they're trendy. I pick them because they allow me to ship faster, stay focused, and have the ability to scale them later. And by far, this is my go-to production-ready tech stack this year that I have used to ship several production-ready applications, all for $0. Yes, you heard that right. So this is my $0 tech stack. Now, a few months ago, I shared a similar video, but since then, I have revisited my tech stack because a lot has changed. And there are even a few tools that I've mentioned that I've completely changed my opinion on. So in this specific video, I'm going to show you the exact $0 tech stack that I use to ship several production-ready applications, all the way from front-end, back-end, authentication, AI, and a few key tools that you need before you ship your app to production. So let's dive in. Now let's quickly go through this diagram as part of my tech stack. We're going to go all over all of these tools. The first one is the framework. Now, when it comes to the framework, we are going to be using Next.js. Now, Next.js is a powerful React framework for the web. It truly powers everything that I've built so far as part of my channel, YouTube channel, or even my business. For example, be it the latest course that I launched called as the Modern Full Stack Next.js course, or a custom course platform that I built as part of this specific course as well, built with Next.js. Or my SaaS that I've shipped called as Proofy Bubble, this landing page and everything that I've used over here use Next.js. Or even my different AI SaaS apps that I have shipped, for example, Somer AI or Merito. This is one of the capstone projects that you ship inside the Next.js course. All of this is powered by Next.js. Now, Next.js is built on top of React, which is why obviously React is a go-to library for me, but I'm also using TypeScript everywhere. The time that I did not use TypeScript, I truly regret it because not everything needs to be a mysterious object. I can type my data so I know exactly what to expect and be able to create better tooling around my systems. Now, with Next.js, whether it be server components with server actions, I can easily co-locate the UI and the backend logic together instead of juggling a separate API layer. It's the most production-ready React framework out there today, so definitely check it out if you haven't already. It will allow you to ship applications faster. The next important piece in my tech stack is authentication. Now, auth is one piece I don't gamble on anymore. If you think about it, auth is literally the entry point to your application. So any app that you're trying to build, you want users to log in and sign up. And if your auth is not repeated or if it's not working, you're going to lose those users, unfortunately. And plus, if you've had to migrate auth mid-project, you would know how painful it is. It touches sessions, roles, integrations, everything. You want to be able to trust them blindly. And that is where WorkOS and WorkOS AuthKit come in play. Now, if you are looking to build serious products, which I know all of you are, then I would highly recommend WorkOS and WorkOS AuthKit. Now, quick shout out, WorkOS is sponsoring today's video. But what I love about WorkOS is that they are the grown-up auth stack from day one. Why? Because they give you SAML, SCIM, device printing, magic link, social logins, and so on. And if you don't know what SAML is, it means that users can sign in with their corporate identity provider. As you scale, it's there for you. SCIM stands for System for Cross-Domain Identity Management. Again, two important keywords if you're looking for a solid auth provider, which means that when someone joins the company, SCIM will activate their account, auto-create their account for your SaaS, but then someone leaves the company, it is automatically going to deactivate it and deprovision it automatically. Plus, it's tested by well-reputed companies such as OpenAI, Vercel, Cursor, Bolt, and so on. So again, it's incredible. What WorkOS provides is this AuthKit. I really love the login box that WorkOS provides, and here's why. It's in fact powered by WorkOS plus Radix. If you know ShatsCN UI component library, it uses Radix UI components internally, and that's why you get such beautiful components from the get-go. WorkOS is also built on top of Radix, which is the most popular open source design system. So you could literally have the same components that are used by Vercel, Linear, Supabase, and thousands of other companies, but also be able to customize them, because a lot of the auth providers out there, you cannot necessarily customize the UI, but with WorkOS you can, which is really incredible. Now, so far in my projects, I have used Clerk, but I am switching to WorkOS because of all of these reasons. And I looked at the migration, it's gonna be super simple. So highly recommend. Now, the other thing that's incredibly important whenever you are rolling out your features to any of the products, you want to test it in production. Now, a key tool that I highly recommend is using feature flags. There are reputed services out there called as LaunchDarkly to use feature flags. But if you use WorkOS, you get feature flags from the get-go, which is incredibly important. You're going to save a lot of money, and it's available across all environments. You can configure it easily. So creating a feature flag would mean you can hide or show it to specific users, see what their feedback is like, and then roll it out further. And that's something that I really loved as well, which is another reason why I'm migrating to WorkOS. Now, when it comes to UI components, I like to keep it simple. I use Tailwind CSS as well as Shadcn UI component library. Now, what is Tailwind CSS? It's a utility-first CSS framework where it comes with a bunch of utilities. You can think of them as functions that include a bunch of CSS properties. So you can just use that specific utility and it will do its magic. It has its own design system. So by leaning on this design system for colors, for consistent spacing, you're not randomly coming up with magic tokens. You could just use what exists, which makes your entire UI consistent. For example, my Next.js course landing page, in fact, uses Tailwind CSS throughout. My SaaS Proofy bubble uses Tailwind CSS throughout, which gives that nice consistent spacing because I don't have to then worry about uneven spacing and so on. Plus, on top of that, I love the Shadcn UI component library. Shadcn UI library, in fact, uses the Radix UI components internally as well and gives you all these beautiful customized components that you could just use. For example, they recently shipped a calendar component. Now, why reinvent the wheel when there are existing components that you could leverage, customize, extend, and build on top of? Because I don't want to waste time reinventing drop-downs or modals or making it accessible. I just want to adapt what's there and ship as long as I'm able to customize it. And that's exactly what I am doing. Then forms and validation. Forms are everywhere. And in 2025, I've standardized the way I build forms by creating a system that works and scales very well. Because if you don't use a library for forms, you're going to have a lot of repeated code and forms get complex pretty quickly. So for that, I use two tools. One is Zod and the other one is React Hook Form. Now for Zod, again, it's a TypeScript first schema validation library. I define the schema for my form, what the schema is going to look like, and then I hook this specific schema inside of React Hook Form, which again gives me performant, flexible, extensible forms with easy to use validation. Now, I could use the same schema for my backend logic as well with server actions for validation. So it just works not only on the front end with my forms, but also on the back end. So this keeps everything types safe from input to database. It cuts bugs and makes refactors painless. So I love using both of these libraries to just manage one of the most complex parts of your application. Now, my database of choice is serverless. It needs to be fast and it needs to take care of all the scaling and maintenance for me. For that reason, I am using NeonDB, which again gives me a serverless platform. It has really easy to use handy functions. And at this point, honestly, the number of times I've mentioned NeonDB on this channel is just bonkers because I just love their platform overall. NeonDB uses Postgres database. It's an open source relational database. So you could write really powerful SQL queries thanks to Postgres. Plus it has a bunch of handy functions that I just love writing. Now, I'll admit, I did not like ORM at first. And an ORM is a tool or library that helps you work with a database. For example, in our case, Postgres, using a programming language instead of writing raw SQL queries. It takes away the complexity of you writing performance SQL queries and it will do that for you. The third player is Prisma. Now, I did not believe in ORM because I can write really good SQL code and I know how to write SQL queries and I know SQL very deeply. However, I can empathize and understand if you really don't want to worry about writing SQL from scratch, you just want functions that you could use and there is an ORM that's literally doing the job for you. And that is where Prisma comes in. Now, Prisma has been a lifesaver. You get type-safe queries, so everything is typed. You don't have to guess what fields exist in the database. You're not gonna call random fields that do not exist in the database. Migrations are simple, and again, you define a schema, which you can again use it with Zod and so on as well. So having the schema model pattern is incredible because you define schema, you use it everywhere. You get types not only on the back end, but also on the front end. Again, incredible. So that is why I personally have started to really like Prisma because of that. Now, my course also teaches you how to use Prisma, NeonDB, and PostgreSQL for this reason as well, because I want you all to be equipped with everything that you need to know to ship a production-ready application. And these three tools really make it simple. MDX powers my documentation. In fact, my entire course platform uses MDX files to basically mix in different React components that I like. For example, if I click on this specific lesson, there are a bunch of free lessons that you could check out. There are different video embeds that I could use, but there are also these quizzes which are interactive that I use MDX mixed with React components for. It's lightweight, it's flexible, and it's easy to integrate with Next.js. Upload Thing is a wrapper on top of S3, so I get a safer and easier alternative, so I don't have to worry about dealing with S3. If you know Amazon S3, it can be complicated, so having this wrapper really helps. Plus, because Next.js gives us an image component, we could just use what exists and use the power of a framework over here. Now, one of the biggest shifts this year is that AI is part of my tech stack by default. Now, when it comes to AI, I use quite a variety of tools for helping me write code faster, brainstorm different ideas, but also use AI in my apps to improve my productivity. So the three tools that I personally use, one is OpenAI. Now, OpenAI is completely incredible. I use ChatGPT via OpenAI to brainstorm ideas, discuss problems, figure out my path forward before I even write a single line of code. So I go to ChatGPT for that. Plus, I also use OpenAI SDK to leverage AI in my applications to build powerful AI agents. Check the AI agent series on my channel for that. Then the next tool is Vercel AI SDK. Now, this is a AI toolkit from creators of Next.js. It's completely open source and it gives you the tools you need to build powerful AI powered products. Now, I love this because instead of calling a variety of services and writing separate APIs for it, you could just literally call the Vercel AI SDK and then it will show you exactly how to just write AI code. So all you need is the type of AI service you need. So for example, if you want to use OpenAI models, you could do that and then pass in the different model and that's it. It's gonna do everything for you. I highly recommend using AI SDK for everything. It saves me from juggling raw API calls and let me build powerful agents right inside of Next.js. And honestly, that's how I've been able to build so many AI applications thanks to the AI SDK as well. Lastly is Cursor. Now, Cursor is my AI code editor. It has made me really productive when it comes to shipping applications. I use Cursor for everything. However, when I know exactly what I need to do, instead of asking Cursor to do it, I'm going to do it because it just helps me ship faster that way. But I use Cursor to build any new features or brainstorm ideas and so on as well. So AI is incredibly important in your tech stack if you want to build powerful applications. Anytime you want to think of deploying anywhere, I feel like every single product of mine so far runs on Vercel. And it's not just deployment. I will get to the other pieces in a second, but Vercel truly powers my business. You can already see over here, if I go to the Vercel dashboard, the number of projects I have on Vercel and it keeps going. Because Vercel gives me the tools I need to automatically scale my application. But it's not just deployment. I use it for logging, monitoring, preview environments, and scalability as well. My course platform, for example, or ProofyBubble, they all are deployed on Vercel and these are production ready apps that I could talk about right now. I have one more SaaS that I'm shipping very soon that I'll talk about in the future videos. But what I mean is it basically handles all the infrastructure for me so I could stay focused on features. if you haven't already checked it out. Now, when it comes to being a production ready app, you need to rely on a few key tools for monitoring, observability, and scalability. There are a few key tools I use. The first one is, again, Vercel. I use Vercel cron jobs as well as logging to help me monitor my application. For example, we can talk about the Next.js course that I shipped. They have this tab that allows me to observe exactly what's going on in my app. What are the 200 errors, 300, 400, and I can dig in more. They also have the logs tab, so I know exactly what's going on. So I can see the different API routes that people are interacting with. But also, more importantly, you would also see this part wherein, if you click on it, there is an error here. So cannot find module. I need to fix this. So something I need to dig into there. But again, I know now this error has occurred. I could also filter by errors. So only errors will show up in the last 30 minutes. Luckily, there are no more errors than that in the last hour, but I could monitor it and fix the errors as they come up. So Vercel for sure. The second piece is called as Sentry. Now, Sentry is again useful for error tracking and performance monitoring. It's an incredible tool that I've been using in production for years, so highly recommend it if you haven't already. It gives you this type of a dashboard. I can't show you my dashboard because I don't want to leak sensitive data, but it will give you this type of a dashboard which will tell you what was the error, what were people doing, and create these mini videos that you could use as well. Then when it comes to emails, I in fact use Resend. Now, Resend is amazing. It's an email for developers. You can deliver transactional as well as marketing emails. I mainly send transactional emails. So like if a student has reached a specific percentage of their course, to congratulate them, to say, hey, good job, amazing. Use Resend for that, and Resend is quite powerful. And lastly, when it comes to monitoring my analytics, knowing exactly what's going on, I in fact use DataFast. Now, I will link it down below. DataFast allows you to analyze your traffic and connects your revenue to it, which makes them a different analytics provider compared to like Google Analytics and so on. And the dashboard is beautiful, and it's built by Mark Liu, and he is constantly upgrading and improving the experience of DataFast. I was using different services in the past, and I switched to DataFast, and I have zero regrets. It's incredible. So highly recommend it if you haven't already. All these apps keep my infrastructure more reliable without adding too many tools. Now, if you look at all these tools, it might intimidate you, but you shouldn't, because these tools are quite easy to use, and you could ship a powerful production-ready application with this specific tech stack. So that is my 2025 tech stack. Now, here's the thing. The exact tools will keep changing. Next year, it might be something else. But what doesn't change and shouldn't change is the philosophy. Pick a tech stack that helps you ship faster and gives you the confidence even when you scale your application. Now, these are a few tools that help me ship my SaaS Proofy Bubble, my Next.js course, the different AI agents that I have, my custom course platform, and also another SaaS that I'm going to talk about very soon. But again, I'll keep evolving it as new tools come up and my needs change. Now, if you want to go deeper in the Next.js course, then definitely go to nextjscourse.dev. But I also want to hear from you. What's one part of your stack that you will never compromise on? Drop them down in the comments below. I read every single comment. As next steps, definitely check out this specific video on shipping your own AI SaaS application. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.